Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new episode, Mercato episode, as if you want to say that. Madness Mercato Inter here on Inter Worldwide. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was great to be back with you again after the end of the season, the crazy end of the season. We are strengthening or weakening. We don't know. I am here with a couple of guests. One of them is late and the other one is here, the space host all the time. I'm sure you hear the voice all the time on Twitter. And for the first time on a video with us, I am here to welcome my friend Gianni. Thank you so much for joining in, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you, Mo, for the invite. Definitely excited to be able to be on the stream here and be able to discuss the Mercato.
Yeah, guys, we got a big one for you. There's a lot of news. Bastoni, Lukaku, Dybala, Brema. New news today. Edison from Salernitana for Vice Brozo. A lot of conversation, a lot of stuff, a lot of things to talk about, and it's overwhelming. Even though the Mercato hasn't even started. Gianni, when does the Mercato even start?
I think what June 10th it officially opens, and then I believe really you can't have them start like move to Inter or move to the Serie A really until July 1st. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. We have all the rumors. Inter fans are going crazy with the things that are being started and spread, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things play out.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, yeah, we got some few people here in the chat with us. Of course, first guy in Dater. Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. My Tumo, a regular. Great to see you guys. I have been away a little bit, but I'm back because the Mercato is on fire for us, even though we can't even register players. My Timo saying hi. Mattia, thank you so much. Always, Mattia is here with me. Guys, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel if that's your first time here. That will give us a lot of support, and we appreciate your support. We are trying to give back to the Inter community. 30 people here already. I want to see these likes go up. Emiliano is always here with us. Thank you so much, Ashwin. It's always great to see you. Reina, if Conti doesn't get Bastoni, he's gonna go for Brema. Man's really praying for our downfall. We'll see about that. We'll talk about it. Ian, thank you so much for being here, Ian. It's good to see you. Eduardo, it's great to see you. And Abu Hamida, hey, from Libya, a brother from Libya. Uncle Sharma is always here. Thank you so much for the support. As always, Uncle Sharma, thank you so much for the support. I'm going to start with one thing only, and one thing in my mind is our MVP leaving us to go to Tottenham Hotspur in London. The guy preferred to go to London, even though it was only, I think, 1 million difference between us and the Tottenham offer, and he preferred to go to play for the Premier League. Perisic, our MVP, maybe after Brozovic, but he won the award. So Perisic leaving, does that leave a hole in our squad, or we think Gosens can fill that hole? Gianni.
Yeah, I mean, listen, obviously Perisic had an incredible season. He blew me away with the way he was able to take on defenders, which was always a strength of his. Really, strong with both feet, strong in the air. He definitely created a lot of goals and opportunities for the team. So that's definitely going to be hard to replace. But I will say Beppe did the best job with getting Gozens in January. I think you ask any Inter fan if there's a guy who could replace Perisic, Gozens is that guy. A little bit different, not two-footed in the same sense, but I still think, I mean, before the injuries, really, there was talk of Gozens as the best left wing back in all of Europe. So I'm okay with him leaving. I appreciate the time and everything that Perisic did for Inter. Um, I wish him nothing but the best. Although I think it's going to be a trophyless season for him at Tottenham. But I'm okay. I feel safe with Gozens, and I'm not really too concerned.
Yeah, I'm not concerned about the left side. I was really hoping, me and Uncle Sharma, we talked about this a lot. Like, we really wanted Perisic to be our right wing back and Gosens to be the left wing back, and we will take on the world. This is what we wanted. And before I move on from Perisic thing, I was tuning into some Spurs spaces on Twitter, and you know what? The first thing they said, they're like, "We have Sessegnon on the left. Why doesn't Perisic play on the right side?" It's anybody like thinking that right away. Like the guy's two-footed. He's actually a right-footed player. He prefers to cross with the left, but he likes to shoot with his right foot cut inside. And everybody was asking why this guy was never put to the right side. You know what? Let's just put it this way: if it ain't broken, we're not fixing it. And it was working on the left, and nobody wanted to try another side. To be honest, I wish him all the best. He was one of my favorite players in the last 2 years. To be honest, I always liked him. I never doubted the guy. He is a world class player, a Champions League winner with Bayern Munich, and he won the league with us. So he gave us some great moments. I remember great moments, great goals, a lot of reels, a lot of highlights. So I can't forget the guy. I'm not gonna call every single player that leave Inter an Inter legend, but that team that broke Juventus cycle, every and each and every single player contributed to that. And for me, is someone that will always be remembered. And I'm sure that you and every Inter fan will always remember this group that broke Inter Juventus and brought us back the Scudetto after 11 years. So it is great.
Do you have a memory, like one memory that specifically stands out for you with him? I've got mine. It's when he went to choke Cuadrado at Juve. That to me is, I mean, I would love to get that picture framed and hanging in my apartment here, because to me that's what really I solidified his passion for the club, and the way I view him. And obviously he became a much better player after that. But man,
Yeah, it's exactly that. For me, Perisic is a symbol of the rivalry between Juventus and Inter, to be honest, and the passion between both clubs. And to be honest, that one is he scored great volleys, great goals, great headers. But to be honest with you, it is just that memory shows the passion for the club, and I like a player that has passion for our club, and it's something that we don't get from a lot of players in the recent times. People just move and then they forget about the club, and we see Hakan like talk shit about Milan, and I'm sure if when he leaves Inter, he will talk shit about us. It is what it is. It's just probably this guy is just he plays and he likes to win. But in my opinion, there's the Perisic, and the message that he sent to Inter after leaving is something that is good to have. That it's a lot of respect for the guy. The guy that is almost in the backup midfielder, Mr. Mkhitaryan. I'm gonna hold my opinion to the end. I'm just gonna wait for you and tell me a little bit. I think it's a done deal. They say not officially yet, but it's a done deal. 4 million net a year for 2 years with an option for another year, but another option to terminate if the guy doesn't play enough games. This is something that we needed to learn, and we learned that the hard way with someone like Vecino, who hardly played in the last 2 years. So tell me, Gianni, do you expect Mkhitaryan to come in and maybe snatch a starting position from Hakan, or you think Hakan is gonna be the guy that is gonna start next year, and then Mkhitaryan is just gonna come off the bench?
yeah, I think it's going to still remain Hakan in the starting role. I think maybe in some smaller games, against the Cremoneses and stuff like that, we'll see maybe Mkhitaryan slip into the starting lineup. But really, I think his main thing is that he could actually play in all three midfield positions. Now, whether he's stronger at one over the other, that of course is another conversation. But I think that he'll just be brought in to be specifically an upgrade to what we currently have on the bench. So I'm okay with the move. It doesn't cost us anything. He's coming in on cheaper wages than Vidal, and with that clause where if he doesn't play, I believe Nima said that if it has to be 12 games, they can terminate. If he doesn't play 12 games, they can terminate the contract. I mean, that's a win-win for Inter, in my opinion. I mean, I know there's other guys that I would prefer Inter target, like an Aslani, like an Ederson, which we could talk about later, but coming in on a free, I'm totally okay with Mkhitaryan being a bench player for us.
Before I say my opinion, I'm going to go through a couple of comments. Anthony, thank you so much for tuning in. Eduardo is saying that it's Perisic wanted to go to the Premier League. Yes, we said that in the beginning. Losing our player of the season the second year in a row. He's shaking his head, which is something that we didn't. We expected this to happen because Perisic was always contract ending. Since I think I expected that. To be honest, I want to talk about a couple of things about Mkhitaryan. I think Mkhitaryan is a good deal. I believe he is good to compete on with Hakan, Barella about the starting 11. So here's my thinking here. I think Mkhitaryan is a good as backup. We need quality off the bench. Okay. He is an upgrade, right? Is he the upgrade that we needed? I don't think so, in my opinion. The guy in the last 6 years had one good season, which is the one with Roma in 2021. He hasn't had another good season. He was a failure at Man United with Mourinho. When people defend Mourinho now and say Mourinho says he's a good player, he had to say a good player because there was no way to get rid of him. But in Manchester United, he benched him. He didn't play him. And he said he's not good enough to play. And he kicked him out of the club. When he went to Arsenal after the exchange with Alexis Sanchez, he flopped and he wasn't good enough. I don't think the player is good. I can dig at him now because he's not an Inter player yet. But once he is an Inter player, I'll cheer for him with all my heart, as always. But for now, I wanted someone better. To be honest, I know it's cheap. It's a cheap option. But that wage is not small. That wage, still, 4 million is not small wage. You can get Fratesi would make less than this. I know that you would pay money for Fratesi, but if we look at the future, someone like Fratesi, and I watched Fratesi yesterday, this guy will play a higher level than Sassuolo. This guy is good player in the midfield. And I think he will have a better resale value than if we spend money on him. This is just my opinion. Mkhitaryan, 2 years, he's done. We will have to he's going to go without any money because it's only 2 years. And you would have spent 4 million net, which is about 7 or a million gross salary. So in my opinion, I like it if this is just free and we're going to get another player. But because he's going to take a place on the squad, I would prefer another person, even though we are in financial problems. But I would prefer an investment. And I know that it's hard and I know maybe unrealistic, but for me, the injury-prone player is someone I don't like because I got bit a lot at Inter from that. And he is someone that gets injured a lot. So I hope he does well at Inter. I hope he can replicate the 2021 season that he did with Roma when he scored 13 goals. I only want half of this, and I'll be satisfied, to be honest. And I hope that this happens. But as Gianni said, it's a great addition on the bench. Not the best, but it's very, very good. It is the best you can do now in a free transfer market. Is he the one that is going to push Hakan to the next level? He because I think this guy, Hakan, likes competition to perform better. And it's not a bad business by Inter. It's good, but I would still like to get someone with a resale value because I believe that the team that win the league, and if we win the league next year, and hopefully we are, and I think I'm not sure about you, Gianni, but I know we have to wait for the market, but I think we're still the contenders, the favorites for the title next year.
100%.
If we win it, our players' value go up. It doesn't matter if you spend 20 today or 25 or 30. You win the league, your player will be 50. This is why I wanted Fratesi in my club, to be honest with you. But hey, it is what it is, and I know that. So there's a comment here from Reina saying that if you can fund Fratesi more, I'm for it. The thing about Italian clubs, they agree on loan deals if you guarantee them the money, like Juventus did with Chiesa, Bernardeschi, and all these players, right? Like even Locatelli, they didn't pay. Vlahovic, they didn't pay the money. I didn't know why we couldn't do this, but I know that the free player is easier. But hey, I'm not the financial expert here.
I think the thing with Fratesi, although he's a guy I do like, I watched a lot of Sassuolo games, and there was games where it felt like he was missing in the plays. It's like he would just. I know sometimes you could say the same thing about Mkhitaryan. You could say the same thing about Hakan, where there'll be long gaps in the moments where you don't even remember that they're on the field. And that's one thing that kind of worries me about Fratesi, and the fact that Carnevale, I mean, he wants ridiculous money for all the players that we've been interested in, whether it was Raspadori in the beginning, and then it became Scamacca, and then Fratesi. Now, first it was 40 million. Now there's rumors that he wants 50 million for Scamacca. It's like, I don't know if he's just asking for these prices because he wants to push them to the EPL. He doesn't want to have to deal with them in the Serie A because they do have the money, to spend. And Although Scamacca supposedly is waiting to see what could happen with the team in Italy, whether it's Inter, Milan, or Juve. I think that Carnevale would rather try to get the most money he can, which he knows he can get from a team like Arsenal or whoever. So, um, although a deal could be worked out, I just wonder if Beppe or whoever, I mean, again, we don't know the finances, is a little concerned that what the final number would be, whether it's a 2 year with an obligation or a 2 year option. We don't know yet, but I think maybe Beppe is thinking, is it going to be worth it at that point or something? So it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what could happen.
So the other player that is coming, I hope it works out, like, and I hope that we can get Fratesi as well, because if we can put this guy Gagliardini somewhere and then we get Fratesi, maybe pay 10 million over two installments or 15 million. If we can sell Gagliardini for 10, 15 million and then put another 50 million for three installments, I think I'm in for a midfield that has Fratesi, Mkhitaryan, Brozovic, and Barella, and someone else. We'll talk about it at the end of the stream a little bit. One of the other guys that is rumored to come for free is Mr. Dybala. Mr. Juventus, Mr. Dybala. Paulo Dybala, the Palermo guy, is someone who had great memories with Juventus, to be honest. And he gave us a lot of shit over the years against Inter. But it is great to have someone like Dybala on the team. It is rumored that it's a done deal. However, what I read yesterday in the papers that he is still weighing his options outside of Italy in the Premier League and in La Liga. In the Premier League, already Tottenham said that they are not, just 2 hours ago, they said that they are not, Romano said that Tottenham are not in for him. They are looking elsewhere. And I'm not sure if anybody in the Premier League is coming for Dybala. This is what I'm hearing. It was only Spurs, and then they're out. In La Liga, I don't think anybody can afford his wage, to be honest with you. Uh, are you excited for Dybala, Gianni? Are you, or are you a little bit cautious for his injury, or do you prefer him with Lautaro? We're gonna talk about Lukaku later. How excited are you?
I'm actually very excited about the possibility of Dybala. I think that he fits the system that Inzaghi likes to run a little bit better. He can be that segundo punta for Inter, and then it'll allow Lautaro to play more forward and more of that prime striker role, which I think will be beneficial for both of them. I do feel like they being on the Argentinian national team, they have that camaraderie. You see the way they interact with one another after games. They're very very friendly with one another. So I think that along with Correa will be beneficial for them. Yes, the injuries do concern me, but I do think that Inter's medical staff do a better job of keeping their players healthy throughout the season, and that may also be beneficial. And if we're able to interchange Dybala with Correa, kind of maybe if we see he's a little fatigued, give him a little more rest. I think that'll be great for the chemistry and also great for preserving Dybala throughout. Because it is a long season. It's not just the league. We do have the Coppa Italia. We've got the Champions League. I'm sure Inter would like to grow and do more than just get to the round of 16. Maybe a quarterfinal, semifinal would be a dream. So you do need to have that balance in the roster to be able to kind of be competitive throughout the longevity of the season. And if we can keep Dybala healthy, I mean, look what Lautaro did this year with terrible. Sharma, that's pretty funny. But look what
Nazario,
the
before we continue, here he is.
Oi,
Nazario is with us.
yay.
finally.
My people. What's going on? Hey, guys, sorry about that, man. My apologies. Sharma, I know, man. I know. What can I say? My sources lied to me. I was told certain things by my sources. They told me Milan would drop points somewhere against Atalanta or something, but they lied, man. My apologies, people. How you guys doing, though, man?
Doing good,
We're
man.
doing fine. We're
You
doing
guys hear me
fine.
all right,
We're
yeah?
great.
Yeah.
We are glad to have you here. It is great. For the first time, people, this is Nazario, the guy that you hear on Spaces all the time that gets banned from Twitter every other day or creates a new one.
It's crazy.
It
It's
is great
crazy,
to have
man.
you here with us. So Gianni was
Nah,
talking about Dybala. So Gianni, you were saying that Dybala can actually work great with Lautaro and can actually do the good job. And I'm okay with that. The guy technicality is a dream in Serie A, to be honest. It just for me the pace thing that I talked about before. We really lack pace up top, and it looks like teams press us, teams go hard on us, and they learn that. And can can he help Lautaro reach that 30 goal mark a season? In your opinion, Gianni?
100%. I think. I mean, look at what Lautaro did with Dzeko and Correa. He did 25 across all competitions. You add Dybala to him, I'm gonna say he can do. I'm gonna be conservative and say 35 goals is what he'll be able to do with Dybala playing alongside him up top. I think that'll be great for him. Um, and we forget though with Gozens and Dumfries, you could have guys who will have the pace on the wings to be able to push the ball forward and allow Dybala and Lautaro to get in the spaces, get in the box, and be able to create for one another. So I think it'll be very easy for Lautaro to eclipse that 35 goal mark with if Dybala comes.
Nazario Dybala is still assessing his options outside, but res- rumors are saying that he is pretty done. The salary is agreed, everything is agreed. They're just waiting for the market to open. I'm gonna ask you the strict question: would you prefer, if you were to choose one, is it Dybala or Lukaku, and why?
It's not even a question. Dybala. Not even a question. I'll be honest. Lukaku in the Serie A, he's a bit of a cheat code, what with his pace and power and all of that. But I've always preferred elite technicians to physical, those sort of players. So for me, it's not even a question. And like Gianni said, I think Dybala next to Lautaro, I think they'll be incredible. I think Lautaro, when they played with Lukaku, he almost played for Lukaku. I think that if Dybala comes, Dybala will kind of do that for what Lautaro was doing for Lukaku-ish. I think Dybala will do that for Lautaro. And I've always said, for me, if like last year, if it was out of Lautaro and Lukaku, I wanted Lukaku gone, not a question. Like Lautaro for me has a much higher ceiling, and I want to see him touch that ceiling while he's at Inter. I don't want to see him go to Barca or one of these clubs, and then we find out what Lautaro is really about. So yeah, for me, definitely Dybala, and I'm crazy at the thought of Dybala and Lautaro together. I think they'll be incredible together.
How about Dybala, Lukaku, Lautaro, and then we do what Antonio Conte is doing at Spurs, playing Kulusevski along with Son and Harry Kane. Well, I get you guys. I know
Can't see
Inzaghi
that
is kind of a stubborn person, but however, in my opinion, Inzaghi, like sometimes you will need this, like and Alexis played behind Zeko and Lautaro this year, create some danger. But I know that we can't
I think
start that.
he only did that like once though, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember him. He literally
Yeah,
played, I think,
yeah, it very rarely
literally
do
once.
that.
Yeah, and I think it was when we needed a goal badly. Was it against Bologna when he did it? I can't remember which game it was when he did it, but
Bologna, he threw them all, yeah, together. So
yeah.
Since
But
we
no, if we can get Dybala and Lukaku, of course I'm not gonna say no to Lukaku, as long as it doesn't mean any of the four Barella, Skriniar, Bastoni, and Lautaro. Like for them, I wouldn't sacrifice anything. But if I can get Dybala and Lukaku, of course I'm not gonna say no. Like
Yeah, people say they love Dybala and Lautaro, but they can't count on Dybala. The problem is if you put all your eggs in one basket, which is Dybala, assuming that he's going to be the starter every game, it's a risky game, to be honest with y'all. It's just kind of, it's not easy to do, to count on Dybala to start all the season. Imagine if Dybala gets 10 games of injury, and then you'll have to start Zeko and Lautaro again, and we'll have to suffer from this. That'd be strange, and I think that would be kind of like flashback March, February of this year, which is something I don't want to remember, to be honest.
Well, no,
Uh,
for me, if Dybala got injured, then it's Correa that's got. Like for me, this season, I'm still of the opinion that if Correa never caught those injuries, Dzeko doesn't play as much, and Lautaro's treated as our main striker, which is what we all thought was going to happen last summer. But with Correa's injuries and then Dzeko, it just all kind of turned a bit crazy this season. But I think
before
Correa
we
would be
move on to,
yeah. Sorry, go on.
go ahead,
No, I was gonna say I
go
think
ahead.
Correa would be the third striker, not Dzeko. Correa would be the main man coming off the bench. to replace
Yeah.
Dybala if he did get injured.
I want to ask Gianni this comment here from Reina before we move on from. I know we didn't talk about the backup for Gosens. Is it going to be DeMarco or is it going to be someone else coming? Is Bernardeschi a free agent this summer as well, and they haven't agreed a contract? What do you think about this?
Personally, I wouldn't want him anywhere near Inter. The guy is, I mean, if anyone saw the way he played on the Italian national team against Argentina, to think that he can come and help Inter, he would not be in my top choices. I mean, some of the names we've heard that could come in: Bellanova, Cambiaso, Udogi. Um, I would prefer Udogi. I don't think he should come to be the backup though from Udinese right now. He's 19. He's got a bright future. I think he should stay another year at Udinese, get some more game times, be able to grow and develop more. With Genoa being relegated, I feel like Andrea Cambiaso, he's only got 1 year left. He would be the cheapest one. And I do like that he could play on the right and the left. Me and Tony, he was in the space with us yesterday. We look at him as like another Darmian, a young Darmian who's like very good at everything, but not great at anything. But he can come in, fill a role, be coming off the bench and be I think he could be an asset to the team. I don't really see him costing more than like 7 or 8 million euros, especially since they got relegated. So if we can get him on an expiring, or even if we want to wait another year and get him on an expiring deal, that's fine too. But I think he would be the ideal one. I don't like Bernardeschi though, personally.
I'm not a big fan of Bernardeschi, to be honest. Another one, Mattia here is saying Kostic, but we can't afford him. We can't afford Kostic for sure, Nazario.
I've got other priorities. If I need other things first. With left wing back, we don't need a first team left wing back. I know how good Gosens is. I'm not upset about Perisic leaving. I'm happy for Perisic. My priorities are elsewhere. I don't think we should get Kostic just because I think we should go for one of these young Italians, Cambiaso, like Gianni was saying. I agree with you about Udogi. He definitely shouldn't be a backup. He's way too good to come in and not be playing week in, week out, and he's got too much potential. But I'll be honest, the wing back, I'm not worried about the wing back. Because if anything, I'm more interested. If I was to pick a wing back, it would be for the right wing. I'm not a huge fan of Dumfries, as you guys know. I don't dislike him. I don't like him too much. And with Perisic leaving, there was one thing that I was slightly worried about is the fact that Gosens is really good at arriving onto the ball, the fifth man to fifth man kind of link ups. And Dumfries can't really cross that well. Gosens, in terms of crossing himself, is not amazing. And we know how much Dumfries thrived from them balls from Perisic. I mean, so many times. So I don't know who's going to be crossing the ball into Dumfries. And on Gosens' side, I don't know who's going to be crossing the ball towards Gosens. So I'm more kind of worried about right wing back over left wing back, if I'm being honest. I don't know what you guys think of that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's why I think Cambiaso would be the best one because he can play both sides. We know how good Darmian is at crossing the ball himself. I mean, he set up Lautaro on a few fantastic goals and volleys. And although I don't think he should be the starter, I think if we were able to get Cambiaso, again, I agree with you, Nazario. I don't think a wingback should be the priority in this transfer window. But if we were able to address the other needs first and there was still room to bring in Cambiaso, I think I'd be totally okay with him being the guy. Because, one, he's young, and I think he's going to be the cheapest one. Like, we're hearing rumors about Bellanova. They want 20 million. It's like you just got relegated. You're not getting 20 million for Raul Bellanova, and I wouldn't spend that anyway, so.
Okay. Dybala played 29 games with Juventus this season. That's maybe here Mattia is saying, first of all, Dybala plays 30 games, and then Mattia is saying he played 29. Juve fans are overblowing his injuries, probably.
I agree with that. And people also go on like Dybala's only really been catching a few injuries the past sort of 2 to 3 years, maybe. But before that, he was never an injury-prone player. So I've heard a few people talk about his whole career, he's been getting injured, right? Look, for me, it's a gamble you take because he's just that good. A fit Dybala is arguably the best attacker in the league, best player full stop in the league. I don't think anyone is quite at his level technically, what he can do with a football. I love Dybala personally, so I really hope he comes. And him, Lautaro. I've been saying it for months. The thought of it is driving me crazy. That's two unbelievable technicians, unbelievable footballers, and I think their connection would be astounding. And after seeing Dzeko and Lautaro for a whole year, we're dying for it, man. I've struggled this year so much, like honestly.
Okay, the elephant in the room, it's Mr. Bastoni. Every time I talk about Bastoni, I like kind of laugh because the meltdown, as we saw a couple of days ago, when just a comment surfaced from his agent. Like, dude, I took a nap or something and I woke up and it was just sunning out, trending in the world, not only in Italy, it was just trending in the world. And I'm like, what happened? And apparently his agent said something about him wanting to stay at Inter, and the shirt is printed on his skin, but he's a professional and he'll be moving if he is asked to, which is kind of down like between these lines. So Gianni, is Bastoni the one that if you are to choose someone to leave from the four, Skriniar, Barella, Lautaro, Bastoni, is he the one would you choose if you are the one who's making the decision?
Yeah, if I had to sacrifice one, it is Bastoni. I mean, ideally, we'd be able to keep all four in my perfect world. But Skriniar is the captain, in my opinion, next season. You can't sell him, and I also think even in the current state of the like the transfer market, he actually has the least value. Um, so he brings you in the least. Why would you even bother doing that? Lautaro, you can't sell him after the way he ended last season, and even the way he played all season. Really, I mean, 25 goals is nothing to sniff at, and where are you going to replace those goals? Like it's harder to replace a striker, in my opinion, than it is to replace a center back. And Barella, I mean, he's the little energizer bunny. He runs all game, 90 minutes, up and down the field. To me, he's the most complete player on the team. I don't think he's the best, but I think in the current form, he's the most complete. Um, so I would not want to get rid of him. He's young. He's only going to get better, in my opinion. And same thing with Lautaro too. While Bastoni could also get much better, if you can get Tottenham to spend 70 million, why not? Like in my perfect world, I mean, I've tweeted about this where I think there's kids in the academy, players that we had out on loan that we could still raise about 90 million without sacrificing Bastoni. But if they want to do it quickly and get that money in, I mean, Bastoni's the easiest one to sell. Get the 70 million for say, and then you could use that money to bring in a guy like Bremer or spend elsewhere as well, and then you can still sell other players within the market to be able to get that 60 million net cap that they have to get. So
Yeah, Nazario, Bastoni, Tottenham are offering 43 million pounds, which is about 55 million euros. That's their first bid. This is
43.
reportedly 43 million pounds, which is
Bro,
55 million euros.
if,
And
if they even entertain that, I'm fuming. I'm fuming if they entertain that offer. Why? 43. Are they're taking? Let me watch my language. But,
okay, they are.
so
I think this is just the start. This is just the start of the negotiation. I think they are willing to go up to 52 or 53 million pounds, which is, I think the max we're going to get for Bastoni is 60 million euros, nothing above that. For a center back in Italy going to the Premier League, they are not going to spend more than six. Let's just be real, people. 60 million is the most we're going to get for him. I know that you're going to be upset. I know, Nazar, your opinion that you don't want to sell Bastoni. First of all, you don't want to sell Lautaro. Lautaro is your GOAT. We know all know that, but
no,
and you
what,
like
not go, not
Bastoni.
go. But
In the
yeah.
okay. If
No,
you
no,
were
no,
to sell every single player, you would keep Lautaro until the
no, man.
last.
No, no, no. Out of those four, Lautaro's third for me. Skriniar and Barella are ahead of him.
Wow.
Yeah, bro, I'm not no fanboy, bro. You don't think bro? Lautaro's incredible, but look, when it comes to those four, Skriniar is number one because for me, he's he's top three centre backs in the world. You don't touch Skriniar. Barella he's the engine of the team. I've always said Brozovic is the heartbeat and Barella's the engine, and we can't touch that. Then it's between Lautaro and Bastoni, and the reason why I say Bastoni is because I've always said this. Bastoni, I love what he does for us in terms of on the ball. Defensively, I've always said I don't think Bastoni is the best of the best. Bringing the ball out of the back, that left-hand side that he had this season with Perisic, what they used to do together, it was crazy. On the ball. Defensively, as long as we get Bremer, for me, we get Bremer and Skriniar. If Bastoni goes, defensively, the defense still improves. On the ball and the way Inzaghi likes to play, we might suffer a bit because we won't have Bastoni, but it depends on who we get to replace him, this and that. But yeah, 100%. If someone had to go out of them forwards, without a doubt, it's Bastoni for me. And I say that with a very heavy heart because I love him and what he does on the ball for a centre back. I think he's probably the best in the world. I don't know any centre back that can dribble like him, that can pass like him. He has vision, technique, everything. But he even has a good shot. The goal against Lazio, he's an unbelievable player. But defensively, like I've always said, get Bremer, our defense improves for me.
Safe, we're not treating Nazario as a fan, but we just know that he's a fan of Lautaro. But anyway, let me say my piece about this Bastoni thing.
I'm a fan
Number
of technicians,
one,
bro. I love technicians, technical football players. That's what I love.
first of all, Lautaro for me disappeared from Salernitana until Salernitana, so I can't rely on Lautaro. He is, in my opinion, he is a stat merchant, in my opinion. Until the end of the season, the last 5-6 games, he performed well. And if he can perform like this for next year, that he would be one of the best forwards in the world, to be honest, and his value would increase to over 100. So for me, after 5-6 games, the last 5-6 games, I would keep Lautaro just based on that because the resale value will just increase. And for Bastoni, he had his lapses this year. But then after what I watched yesterday, him in a back four next to Acerbi, who I don't count as a center back or as a football player at all, he actually was absolutely phenomenal, Bastoni. And if you go on Twitter or the reports or even the Tottenham Hotspur, the Spurs newspaper, they always talking about one thing. This guy can not only play in a back three, this guy can be a center back in a back four. So we're getting 2 in 1, which is something they don't have. So I think they're gonna come for him hot. They're gonna try to buy him as soon as possible before anybody else come for him because there is a club sleeping that wants a center back and their manager is actually looking for a ball player center backs, which is Eric Ten Hag in Manchester United, and these people have the money, and they are trying to get rid of Lindelof and Eric Bailly. So Tottenham Hotspur will come for this guy, and I think we will sell him. In my opinion, I think Inter will get rid of Bastoni. Inter will get Bremer, and there is a guy. Someone just said here, Gianni can fill us in about this. It's Gavridoyle. Uh,
Gvardiol,
someone
he's gonna be even more expensive than Bastoni. He's
Yeah,
got like
I mean,
I believe his contract runs out in 2026, if I'm not mistaken.
2026, yeah.
Leipzig are
So
not in our
this is not an
position. They
option
don't-
then.
Nah,
There's no way we would get him for less than 70 million. They have no reason to sell him. They just signed him to an extension. Senesi, yeah, I've seen the reports on him. I mean, I don't watch a lot of the Eredivisie. Like it's not, yeah, it's just not something I really pay attention to. I did see him against Roma in that Conference League final. He didn't look bad, but I mean, I can't go off of one game, so I won't comment on him. But Gvardiol is they're asking for 50. I mean, listen, even still, like if we have to make money, there's no way we can get him and Bremer. It's just impossible, like so.
There's no way we're getting Gvardiol and selling Bastoni. That doesn't really. If we could
It
get
doesn't- yeah,
Gvardiol,
it-
surely we'd keep Bastoni. Like if we could afford to get him, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. So I mean,
Seeker of the truth. Listen, guys, we have to be realistic as Inter fans.
I'm with him. I'm with Seeker of the Truth. This is
Yes,
ridiculous.
but this is not gonna happen. You know that, Nazario.
Okay, Mo, hear what I'm saying, yeah? Like, I understand 100 million is not really going to happen, but you go in there and you demand crazy sums, And if they don't want it, then cool, tell them. Obviously, I know it's a case where we kind of need to sell, but from time you're willing to entertain 43 million and you're still speaking to them and you haven't hung up the phone and said, bro, come back to me when you're serious to come make a serious offer. I don't like that. If Marotta carried on the conversation when they said 43 million and you didn't hang up, then I'm pissed. Because that's
That's my
taking.
mom. That's my mom negotiating with the guy that sells some
Bro,
like
do you know what I'm saying? I'm saying,
carpet.
yo, call me back when you're serious. Goodbye. I'm putting the phone
100%
down.
agree.
That's taking the
Anyone?
I
piss.
I don't pick up a phone call from Tottenham until there's 70 million euros starting.
Minimum, and you're
That
starting there, and then I'm gonna
yeah.
tell you no 100, then you call 80, then 90, whatever, cool. But you're starting at 43 million. I'm hanging up on you. I hope
Yeah,
Marotta
that's
hung up
kind
the
of
phone.
offensive. The fact that I know there's the EPL tax and all that, but the fact that you can have Harry Maguire go for 80 for half that essentially, if I'm Beppe, I'm sure I know they're not accepting it, but that I'm still like, yeah, that's offensive and just hanging up. I'm not even
Okay,
entertaining that.
there is a conversation happening in the comments, but before I get to it, guys, Lisandro Martinez, Ajax defender. He is. I don't think. I'm not. I watched the guy a couple of times about 2 seasons ago or a season ago. He's okay. He's good. He's young. Center back can play in the midfield. I'm not sure if he's good for three in the back, Uncle Sharma, but maybe you know something that we don't know, Uncle Sharma. But here you
I
go.
just don't like his
One
height
thing.
for Lisandro Martinez. He's a
Yes,
little short for me. That's the only knock I have on him. But
and we got bitten from who? DeMarco being short. Maybe we lost the league because of that. But anyway, okay. Couple of things, guys. Yurick and Bastoni will get found in the PL, and Uncle Sharma is saying PL, the Premier League in right for Bastoni. Is that something you guys think? I think Bastoni goes to the Premier League and he gets Defender of the Season under Antonio Conte.
no, I don't see that personally. I think Romero is much better than him as in terms of defender. Bastoni's strength is like Nazario said, bringing the ball up. His strength is not his defense. Um, that's why if the offer came for 70 million euros, I know Nazario wants more. I would be like, yeah, I'll take that because I think eventually, he could be found. I don't really see him being as successful as he has been with Inter. I think obviously with the Serie A being more tactical, and it's just it's something I could see him struggling with the pace of the game in England, the attackers that come. You got Salah coming. I'm trying to think of guys on the right side in the EPL.
There's a lot.
I,
There is Mahrez on the
Mahrez,
right side.
you got Mahrez. You got. There's rumors that he might get sold to Tottenham, but just
it's
on
looking
pace,
like Dembele is going to Chelsea apparently. Dembele.
yeah, Dembele could be
Bowen,
going. You got Traore, who although he can't do much else besides use his pace, he'll definitely could be blowing by Bastoni as well. So, I think it could be a struggle adapting. Now with Conte, I'm sure he'll be able to find his footing maybe around December, January. But initially, I think he'll have some growing pains.
very very interesting comment right here. It's Suning will not reinvest Bastoni's money to any other player. To get Bremer, we have to sell De Vrij. So we will lose Bastoni and De Vrij. We talked about this on a space, and we thought that we are not gonna see this. But logically, it is still the case. Because if they were willing to sell Lautaro, it was still the investment for Bremer would have come from De Vrij. So now Bastoni is to be sold. That has nothing to do with Bremer. Bremer's money would come from De Vrij. It's what is happening here, guys? Are we seeing both defenders leaving and then we're replacing De Vrij with Bremer and then we're seeing another defender? I see this scenario is most likely if we're not to sell anybody else from the big names, these two will cover Bremer and the debt that we have to pay, and the rest will be invested in wages, maybe another player, something like this.
I just
I
don't know.
really
I don't know what's going on, bro. Yeah, you take it, Tony. Go on. I don't know
no
what's
no go
going on
ahead.
with
Go
our
ahead.
finance. No, I was gonna say I don't know. Nothing makes sense to me anymore. I'll be honest. From time last year, we got to sell Hakimi, raised 70, then Lukaku left, and we're spending 20, 30 minutes. I don't know what our finances are on. I'll be honest. You take the question, Gianni, because I don't really know what to say. They're annoying me, bro. It drives me crazy every day. Like, it don't make no sense. Like, nothing makes sense at Inter anymore. I'll be honest. So I
The
don't know
way
what money is coming from where. Like,
the way I see it is let's factor in that they buy Bremer, right? So we have to get 90 million from somewhere. If we sell Bastoni, that's 70 million minimum. We sell him, you still have Pinamonte who could be sold, Sebastiano Esposito could be sold. You got Radu, who I want to kick to the curb. I mean, yeah, Valentin Lazaro. You got Dalbert, Sensi. Pirola. There is ways that we can raise the money. So I don't. I know we can get to what the goal regardless. So I'm not too worried. I don't think De Vrij gets sold. I think if they do get Bremer, Bastoni leaves. What happens is Bremer goes to the left side, De Vrij stays in the middle, and they move Skriniar to the right side. Or sorry,
But De
the
Vrij
left.
has to be sold, Gianni. He has 1 year left in his contract. He has to be sold.
They could renew. They could give him an extension. It doesn't have to be sold.
Yeah. Okay. So there's another rumor that surfaced that says that actually De Vrij will extend, will enter, and he will be loaned out to I think
Chelsea.
Spurs, Chelsea. Yes, you're
It was a
absolutely right.
Chelsea, and then we would get Lukaku. So that was a
We
rumor
will
that I've seen. Yeah,
Lukaku, yes. So we would extend. It's a common Inter can get Senesi and Bremer. Senesi is cheap, I'm assuming,
yeah. I don't see him being more than 15, 20 million, maybe.
and Bremer to replace. But I'll tell you one thing. My fear is that if we get two new defenders, we're not challenging. It's very hard to integrate two defenders in a back three. No, just brand new. It's very hard.
I don't
This
know.
is gonna
I
be
think
tough.
Bremer could be. He played as in the back three at Torino, so I think
But
he
with
could
a
adapt
different,
easily.
it's a different way to play, Gianni, right? Like
It
we
is a
always have
different
the
way to
ball.
play, but with the way Inzaghi doesn't play the way he played with Lazio. He likes to press more. Bremer allows them to press more. They could play further up the pitch. I think Bremer opens it up. It puts more pressure on the other team that we'll be playing, to get past and get through our midfield, which I think we know how Brozovic plays and Barella plays. I mean, good luck. If we get Bremer, I'd be surprised honestly with Onana in the back, Bremer, De Vrij, and Skriniar. If we gave up more than 8 goals, I'd be surprised. I'm not. And you could call me crazy. You could say I'm fanboying, whatever. That team will be able to keep possession and control the game so much better than they currently do, even with Bastoni. Bremer is. I mean, the fact that he led all of European football with interceptions as a defender, that's incredible. So, I mean, good luck to anybody if we get Bremer, because I not only are we going to challenge in Serie A, no problem. I think there'll be challengers in the Champions League as well.
So Bremen will be funded by Pinamonti. This is the rumor that is happening. We still have 60 million to play for Gosens and Korea. Yeah, we have to remember that it's 25 and 35, so that's 60 million. I'm not sure if Korea is 2 years loan. I think with an obligation to buy in the second year. I'm not sure. I'll have to check back.
It
on
was
that.
obligation in February. Once he played a game in February, it kicked in. So
we have to pay that money. Where's that money coming from? I have no idea. But it's something that I don't know, to be honest. And new reports from Pascual Guerrero about Villanova. Oh my God, man. The amount of rumors that we hear about players joining Inter, and it's just unbelievable. And I have not heard a rumor about a player leaving Inter other than the big players. Like, why we're not hearing about Pinamonte? Why we're not hearing about Esposito? I want to hear about these guys leaving. Not to be honest, like players coming back. Safe here say I want a buyback option on Bastoni or at least a percentage on sell. Conti is leaving in 1 or 2 years. We know that for sure. Basto will have cold feet then. Don't want Juventus sniffing around. I agree. We need to do what Real Madrid did with us. They sold us the player and they said, we have the option to buy this player, but they didn't go for it. We sold it to PSG. But they did this with Carvajal, for example, when he went to the Bundesliga back in 2012. We need to do that with Bastoni. If we are to sell Bastoni for less than 70 million or 80 million, we need to be able to have a buyback option or at least a percentage of the future sale for him, to be honest. But we're going to hear a lot about Bastoni once the market open, I'm assuming. And also once we figure out the Vidal and the Sanchez situation, because that will open the door for Dybala, Lukaku negotiation. And Lukaku, the last thing that I heard today is that he's actually told Inter that he is going to take over the negotiation with Chelsea to be able to get a 1-year loan. And the only way he's going to do that is he's saying that his value is going to go up when he goes to Inter, because Chelsea are requesting 20 million and we don't have 20 million to pay a loan fee. This is absolutely Inter are off the table. We're leaving the room once they say 20 million loan fee. We're not putting a 20 million loan fee for this guy at all. Pinamonti's high wage makes it hard for mid-table teams to signing him. I don't know how much he makes, about $1.5 million or something like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be
Yeah,
somewhere
Serie A.
close to that. Maybe 2-3 million then, but I don't know.
So
Yeah, the problem is
Nazario,
Serie A can't afford that, man.
Lukaku. How do you see Lukaku fitting in back and Inter, or do you see him struggling? If we are able to secure that loan deal, I'm not going to talk about the money, right? Imagine this guy comes tomorrow to Inter. Do you see this guy struggling, or do you see this guy right away hit the ground running in Serie A like he never left and just go score goals, bang goals, assists, and stuff like this?
Me personally, I think he'd do well. He knows the league well. Almost everyone is still there from when he left. I mean, he's gonna find Lautaro there again. Barella's still there. Brozovic, like everyone's still there. I think he'd hit the ground running. I don't have issues with him performance wise. The reason why I don't want him is strictly a financial thing, and I'd rather have Dybala. Like the prospect of Dybala Lautaro is way more enticing to me than we've seen Lukaku, Lautaro, we've seen how good they are together. So I'm not saying he wouldn't be good or he wouldn't do well, but it's just a financial reason. Yeah, definitely Lukaku would do well if he came back, no doubt. And the fact that last summer when Inzaghi came in, you saw the way he was talking about Lukaku. He said, he still wanted to carry on building the team around him, and it seemed like he was crazy about him. So I think in training he must have obviously seen something he liked. Yeah, I had no doubts Lukaku would do well. Again, it's strictly a financial reason why I don't want him. But if we could get Lukaku and Dybala and Bremer, the league's done, in my opinion.
But with Bastoni leaving,
I've always said Bastoni can go as long as we get Bremer, our defense improves. So, you take from that what you want. But I don't want Bastoni to go at all. What he does on the ball, I've not seen a defender do that. Honestly, I don't. Van Dijk can't play that well on the ball. He maybe has a better long range pass than Bastoni, maybe. But in terms of bringing the ball out into play, even dribbling, Bastoni's got good feet for dribbling. That's what Bastoni's good at. But defensively, you guys were saying earlier about the Premier League as well. Premier League's way more open than Serie A. There's a lot more spaces, and in open spaces when people are running at him, you're not putting your money on Bastoni stopping a fast player. Once they knock it, I even remember against Liverpool, when we played against Liverpool, I'm not a big fan of Salah, I'll be honest. I think he's extremely, extremely overrated, the most overrated player on this planet. But Salah, a couple of times he ran at him and just knocked it past him. And that would happen a lot more in the Premier League. But yeah, sorry, Mo, I know you're Egyptian and I know that upsets you, bro, but I think he's extremely overrated, bro. So overrated. If he won the Ballon d'Or,
don't
he would
listen
have
to
been the
this
worst
guy.
player.
Numbers don't lie. Don't listen to this guy. Numbers don't lie.
If Salah won the Ballon d'Or, that would have
If
been
Salah is overrated, Lautaro is not even a football player. Lautaro, stat merchant.
Mo,
If Salah,
Mo, if you told me today Lautaro goes, Salah comes in, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I would never do that.
anyway, to answer Huyan's question, Spurs said they're not going to spend that much money. If Chelsea is to sell Lukaku to a Premier League rival, they want at least £80 million. They would lose 50 million, and nobody's paying 80 million pounds for a flop Lukaku in the Premier League. This is not happening, bro. It's not happening. Bruce is saying that we need Lukaku more than Dybala. Lukaku is more like Leao. He can take the ball from the midfield and score goals. That's my opinion. It's not Gianni's opinion, and it's not Nazario's opinion.
Nah,
But
I
I just
agree
said
with
it
that.
here.
I agree with that.
I said it here. It is my opinion. We need pace to challenge in the Champions League and challenge against big teams. We need someone like Rafael Leao to score goals when we are pressed and to get us out of trouble. Dybala can get us out of trouble in tight
You
spaces
make the ball
when
do
we
the work,
are
brother.
pressing.
You make the ball do the work, bro. You don't have to have a player that picks up and runs at people. If you make the ball run around instead of you running around, you get in behind.
We couldn't
anyway.
do it.
People think Lukaku's going to come in. People think Lukaku's going to come in and it's going to be the same system as Conte did. It's not. Inzaghi would want him to play a different way, and we don't have Pintos to keep his stamina and health levels up to the standard that he had when Pintos and Conte were there. I would not. I think honestly, it would be detrimental to Lautaro's growth if you bring Lukaku back, because now he has been playing as that focal point in the strike partnership. And then, like Nazario's been saying, Dybala would allow him to be able to do more, and he would create goals for Lautaro. Listen, I love Lukaku, and if there was a way we can get the both of them, Dybala and Lukaku, I'm all for it. But I just don't think that he will be playing and be used the same way that he was with Conte. There will not be the long balls over the top for him to run onto and then be able to attack defenders in open spaces. It's not even a question for me. Dybala would have to come more than all right, what are we saying? Okay, I mean, listen, you're not wrong, Sharma, but like I don't see him being used the same way. That's all.
But let me tell you something, Gianni. We are talking in a world that Dybala comes in, play 30 games, and Lukaku come in, play 30 games. Okay. I'm not reading the future. I don't have an A-ball here next to me to tell me what is gonna happen. Dybala can come and Lukaku can come, and both of them can get injured. You brought up a great point, to be honest. Pinto. The nutritions that was with Lukaku, the fitness that was Lukaku on, every single attribute that Lukaku, the weight that he lost, Lukaku, it made this guy a different level. Look at his weight now. Look at his touch now. Touch is not only about ability. Touch is about fitness. Touch is about you are being able to stand on your muscles well, and everybody that play football know that. And I think we don't have Pinto now. But I'm talking in the ideal world where Lukaku comes in as he never left. Dybala comes in as the magician that we see every single time the guy touches the ball in Juventus. In my opinion, based on what I saw in February and March, if we had Lukaku, we would have won these games. But if we would have Dybala and still be impressed and played these long balls, we would out of ideas. All of us wanted Inzaghi's head. All of us wanted Inzaghi to change the way he plays. Like, I asked for, please find a different solution. We're getting pressed. Handanovic play long ball to Lautaro or Dzeko. Dzeko is just a standing tree that had no solution for anything. Imagine if we had Lukaku receiving these long balls when teams are pressing us these 2 months. That's what I'm counting on.
Bro, we could have easily had Correa. If Correa wasn't injured and Correa and Lautaro were playing like they did towards, we would have won. Like, I don't like this thing where if we had Lukaku, there's so many things that if we had, we would have won this league. It's not a case of Lukaku or nothing. For me, the problem is Dzeko and Lautaro, right? So from the beginning of the season, for me anyway, personally, I've always said this: Inzaghi destroyed Lautaro's confidence. Yeah, from time you're letting a 36-year-old Dzeko be the main man up front, yeah, and you're subbing him off every game. You don't trust him. You don't have the full trust and support of the manager. You know what I've always said about Lautaro Mo? His first touch, incredible. Someone who guides the ball wherever he wants to with his first touch. I was seeing this guy couldn't control nothing for 2-3 months, right? And it's not that he's rubbish. A striker needs confidence, and for me, Inzaghi destroyed Lautaro this year. Destroyed him. And for me, if that didn't happen, again, if Lukaku came back, no. If Lautaro was the Lautaro that he was the last 10 games of the season, do you think we would have lost the league? Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you're saying, but to be honest, this conversation can go forever.
If we had the Lautaro from the last 10 games of the season, from the beginning of the year, do you not think we have a few extra points?
For sure. We would have surpassed our XG. The guy's finishing was at some point. I put a short and saying I need this guy out of my club because at 2 months, to be honest, it was ridiculous. Even the goal he scored at Liverpool.
You guys not seeing the issue, right?
Okay. Listen, I was reactionary. Okay, but
that's fine. That's fine.
But for 2 months, Nazario to be out of touch, out of shape, out of everything.
It wasn't 2 months. It was longer than that. No, it was longer than that, bro. It was longer than that. Even from September to December, when Lautaro was scoring, he was playing rubbish, bro. The guy was playing rubbish. It's been all year. People are saying, it was only 2 months. That's a lie, bro. It was all year that Lautaro played bad. He wasn't playing good, right? And for me, from day one, Correa got injured. Cool. Now you're playing up front with Dzeko. There's no nothing between Dzeko and Lautaro. It's like they met the day before and Inzaghi told them, yo, you guys are playing together tomorrow, yeah? Like, I don't understand how you can have such little harmony and not such little chemistry with someone that you've been playing with for months. But every game, Mo, when you're getting subbed off 60th minute, 70th minute, As soon as it's going a bit wrong, Lautaro's coming off, Dzeko stays on. Anything, Lautaro's off. He killed him. He killed him. And it's not a coincidence that Lautaro, the last 10 games, he played with Correa, his confidence came back. Dzeko's, Inzaghi saw Dzeko can't run anymore. He can't move anymore. I don't have an option. I have to play Lautaro. Cool, Lautaro's got a bit of confidence now, and Lautaro did what he did. Because that is what Lautaro is, bro. Lautaro is an unbelievable footballer. But all strikers, when a striker doesn't have confidence, when a striker doesn't have the trust of his manager, there's some strikers who are like, I don't care, F it, I'm still. But most strikers, bro, they need that trust and support from their manager to know that if they have a bad game and they're not finding the back of the net, the next game they're still playing. I'm still the main guy. And he was never treated as that. He was a 36-year-old man who can't run, and I love Dzeko. He done a lot for us this year, so I don't even feel to cuss him or criticize him. But I'm mad at Inzaghi for that. Why are you putting all your eggs into his basket? I will never understand that. Never understand that. I don't know, man. But for me, Lautaro, from September, the main striker, we've won this league right now. But
We'll see. But last thing, guys, we're past an hour. Imagine that. Last thing, I want to ask Gianni about Vice Brozo. There is Aslani and there is another player. I'm gonna give you the floor to tell us a little bit about Vice Brozovic and what do you see in that. And people are agreeing with you. To be honest with you, Nazario, people are agreeing with you.
I love my bro,
They
Antonio. I
like
love
what you
my
said
brother.
about Lautaro. We'll see, man. I hope that you're right. I hope that
Listen,
Lautaro
Mo,
comes back.
even at his worst, I always said this. Even when Lautaro was playing horribly, I always said, look, I'm not a fanboy, making excuses. And Lautaro was terrible. He was terrible, and it's not okay that because the manager doesn't trust you and you don't have the confidence, it's not an excuse to play badly. He should have played better, 100%. But the facts are the facts, and it is what it is, man. And we lost the league, so.
Okay, Gianni, give it to me, my friend. What are we doing about this Vice Brozo thing? Because we burned the guy last season.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do. We see the rumors about Aslani and Ederson now. There's rumors that somehow we have $21 million to spend on Ederson. If that's the case, that we can go after him and offer that, I think he would be a great Vice Brozovic. Personally, I would prefer Aslani just because it seems like he would be the cheaper option. And I think that they're both on the same level. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do. There's rumors that we could give Esposito plus cash for Aslani, which I think would also make it easier. Like they're saying him plus 3 or 4 million. I'd be all for that as well. Both of them have great profiles, very good on the ball, very good in moving in the spaces. I think Aslani is. I mean, you saw the way he played against Inter in that game when they Empoli went up 2-0. That was his first league goal ever, and of course, it would happen. He would score on Inter. But I thought he was, up to par as being able to keep up with Brozovic and move with him and kind of. Although he didn't negate him in any way, I think, he is only, 20 years old, 19, 20 years old. He's only going to get better. If you bring him in, you have him as the Vice Brozovic, that's ideal in my situation, in my opinion. So I don't know what you guys think or who you would want to see. I mean, I do see the Agume rumors. They're saying they might just loan him out or sell him to some team in the French league too. I mean, I'm okay with bringing him back if you don't even want to spend the money. Like if money is an issue, why would you want to go out and spend on other players and kind of make the deficit even greater? I think you can integrate Agume. I personally, I've been saying it since January. I want Casadei to be called up to the first team, and I think he should be a backup to somebody. I mean, you don't score that many goals by accident, and I don't remember who said it too, but I agree with them that they said, it might have been David, I think, who said, but that he's like a young SMS, and I 100% agree that he has that kind of potential and that same profile, big, strong midfielder, gets onto the balls into the box, can head it, can score with both feet. I would love to see Casadei break into the first team. I think it's a shame that in Serie A, they don't like to play the young kids and have them integrate into the club. Even Franco Carboni, we're talking about a backup wing back, right? Where we've been saying it. We brought up some names. why can't Carboni break into the team? You see how he was crossing balls in all season and Casade was heading them. I mean, we have players that we could actually integrate. It's just that we don't want to. We'd rather spend the money or whatnot. But we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm for Aslani coming in, and then you have maybe Casade integrate as well, and Mkhitaryan. To me, if that's your backup midfielders, there's no reason we can't win the league again.
Nazario, this rumor surfaced today between they wanna loan him out to us with an option to buy, not an obligation to buy. Ruben Lofton-Cheek from Cooley here saying Ruben Lofton-Cheek on loan would destroy Serie A. What do you think about Ruben Loftus-Cheek? I'm not gonna say my opinion until you finish.
Okay, so my opinion on him is based on what we have. It's based on Gagliardini, Vecino, and Vidal, right? I want to see anything other than those guys. I'll be honest. I'll take like Gianni said, Casade. I will take anyone to not have to watch them come off the bench again for us. Like honestly, when I see them getting subbed on, my heart breaks every time. All three of them, right? Like it kills me, bro. It actually bro. So for me, anyone, Loftus Cheek, I'll be honest, he's rubbish. He's not great. But he's better than those guys, in my opinion. I saw the rumor surface earlier, and one of my cousins who's a Chelsea fan was laughing at me, and I said, bro, I'll be honest, I'll take him because I'm that desperate for a backup who's a footballer. In my opinion, Gagliardini and Vecino are not footballers. Vidal used to be, now he's too old. Them men are not footballers, bro. Them men are. I'll take him because I'm sick, but he's not good. I don't like him. I don't like Loftus Cheek. He's all right. He's a technically sound player. He's physical, so.
But his physically will fit Serie A, right? Like his physicality will fit Serie A.
The thing is, he's a bit slow. So for the fast pace of the Premier League, it doesn't like he's not. But because he's so physical in the Serie A, he might have a bit more fun than he has. But I don't like him though. I'll be honest. I don't like Loftus Cheek, but I like him more than Gagliardini and Vecino. So I would take him. I'm at a stage right now where, bro, honestly, most names that get given to me as midfielders to be backup to Barella, Çalhanoğlu, I'll take him. Mkhitaryan at first, I was like, why are we getting Mkhitaryan? Then I thought about it. I said, bring him. I'll take anyone, bro. Anyone. I can't watch Gagliardini and Vecino. Never again, bro. Vecino, bro.
Vecino's gone. His contract is done.
Bro,
He's done. He's gone.
Alhamdulillah. Bro, listen. You see Vecino. You see the Lazio goal. He should have gone after that goal. Yeah, after that goal, he should have never come to Inter in the first place. Yeah, never. He should have never won it. But after the Lazio goal, a lot of people are like, oh, Vecino, this. You should be thankful to him. Then he scored that goal against Tottenham, and we got knocked out of the group stages. I don't know why people are happy about that goal. Bro, the day Vecino leaves, I'm throwing a barbecue at my house, bro. We're going to get lit, man. Because, boy, that guy is not a footballer, bro. He's not a footballer. Him and Gagliardini, I don't know how. If they made it, I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't make it as a footballer. They're the type of footballers that I look at and I'm like, bro, if you made it, I have to take a long, hard look at myself and think about why I didn't. Because we're bro, bring Loftus Cheek, man. He's rubbish, but bring him.
Indro Hari asked a question, and I want to get in Gianni on this. Is if there's a confusion about this. If we fail to pay the 60 million capital, it's not a liquidity problem. We are obligated to pay it on 3 years, not this year. We already paid 150 million last year, Gianni, like 170 million last year from it.
I think it was
so we're actually on track, right?
Yeah. So yeah, right now we're on track. I think 60 million is what they ideally want to finish at. It's not a necessity because the next season, I think they said would be also 60 million as well. So it's just kind of what they want to pace themselves at. They don't want to make it harder on one year or the other. They want to be able to, just have that peace of mind essentially. And really, the payment is not due until 2024, the summer of 2024. So even if we don't get 60 million this year and we only get, let's say, 40, and the next year we get 80, we're still on schedule. We'll be fine. As long as it's paid by the summer of 2024, there won't be any issues with that. So,
yeah, people are agreeing that Loftus-Cheek is good because I've seen the story of Anguissa, who was a relegated player with Fulham, and then he came, and to be honest with you, he is one of the reasons Napoli were actually up there. To be honest, the guy destroyed the league physically, and he's a very good player in Guisa. And I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek, if he doesn't get injured, will be the same. Uh, I want to thank both of my guests, and hopefully you guys will see us a lot here. We'll keep you updated over the transfer summer and over the friendlies that will start in July, I guess. So it is a madness mercato, and this it hasn't even started yet, and it looks like we are getting rid of like 10 players and we are bringing in another 5, 6, 7 players. It's we'll see how it is, but I am optimistic for next season based on the names we're linked at, like Bremer, Lukaku, Dybala, Mkhitaryan, and we have Gosens now. Is gonna, I think next year's team and getting rid of Sanchez, Vidal, getting rid of Vicino. I think this team is gonna be even stronger than last year, to be honest. And this is just my opinion, but here from Inter Worldwide and from all my guests, I want to thank them, everyone. Gianni, thank you so much, my friend, for all the info. It was absolutely great talking to you live on video.
No, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Obviously, I love being able to chat when we have our spaces. Nazario, always, you too, man. Whenever you're able to come in and pump up Lautaro and get the chat rolling, it's no, it's always great. So I'm glad we got to do this.
Nazario, thank you
Nah,
so much for coming in. It was great. I know you were late, but out of your hand. But I hope to see you more soon. So thank you so much for
nah,
coming in, my
most
friend.
definitely. Thank you, my bro. I appreciate. Obviously, I told you if we could start a bit later, but obviously you told you couldn't really do it. But I tried to come as quick as I could, man.
No, it's okay. It's
But
all
nah, I
good. We
appreciate.
chatted. You gave us your
Nah, it's good.
from all of us
It's
here
good,
at
man.
Inter
It's good.
Worldwide.
Forza Inter sempre. Thank you, guys.
From all of you, us and Inter Worldwide, from Mimo, your host, and from our friend Anthony, and from everybody behind the scenes. Thank you so much. We always appreciate your support. We're looking for your support, and we're here to connect all the Inter community on your videos, and we'll try to bring you the best content. And thank you everybody that tuned in, and hopefully we'll see you soon. And Forza Inter, that Pazza Inter Mercato.